Days in Control, we're going to talk about how to plan your month, get control of your month going into it. We are rolling up on a new month. I mean, technically we're already in a new month, but I like to go into my month with intention. This is a really good time to sit down and say, you know, what do I want to focus on this month? What do I want to spend my attention and energy on this month? And what am I going to do this month to get me closer to the goals that I set for the year? So in this video, I'm going to talk you through the steps that I take to be intentional about the month and to be very productive and to focus on the things that I actually want to focus on versus going through the month feeling like the month is happening to me. I want to own the month. So I like to spend the month in control of my time and attention. And I'm going to talk to you about how to do that. So let's get into it. As we go into this, one thing that I do want to address is monthly reviews. I think it's so important to review the month before because the information, the data, the stories, the realization, and the reflection that you do in a previous month is going to help inform your plan for the current month. It's going to help you understand what you need to do more of, less of, where you need to shift focus, where you need to focus more, things like that. So reviewing your month is so important. It's so very important. So much so that I actually made a video on how to review your month. So you can check that video out as well. But in this video, I'm going to talk about how to plan the month ahead. Now, a couple of things that I use to plan. So I love planners. I'm a planner girl, and I kind of vacillate between physical planners and digital planners. I go through different phases where some phases I'm in that digital world and some phases I'm in that more, you know, I need to write things down world. One of the things that's a very good marriage of the two is my Remarkable. So I love my Remarkable, and I actually designed a planner, a monthly planner journal that I use in my Remarkable. So I actually go into here and do my monthly planning, my monthly review, my weekly and daily planning and reviews as well. I'm going to share that planner in the description box. I'll also share a link to the Remarkable. I do not benefit from you buying a Remarkable. This is not affiliate at all. But I do really love my Remarkable. I find that it is a really good marriage between the people that love to write things down, but the people that also want to access things digitally. So I use the Remarkable. Also, lately I have been using Notion a lot, and I'm loving it. I am falling in love with the notion of Notion. It is fantastic. It's a great tool where you can basically create all these pages. You can create journals. You can create almost anything in there. And so I've been tracking my goals in Notion. I'll do a whole nother video about that. But right now, I just want to talk about the concept of planning your month and being in control of your month. And I'm only going to share, let's see, maybe 4 tips. I'm going to share about 4 tips on how to plan your month. All right, let's go. Tip number 1, before I even get into the mechanics of the what I'm going to do for the month, I like to actually journal and reflect. You know, I like to start with the creative thinking before I move into the analytical thinking. I don't know if you know what side of your brain you use, but I actually use both sides. So I'm both a creative thinker and an analytical thinker as well. And so I have to give space to both of those versions of my brain. I like to start with the creative part. So the first thing that I do is journal. I'm going to ask myself a few journal prompts. Like, what am I most looking forward to this month and why? Why am I looking forward to it? I also ask the question, what am I least looking forward to in the month and why? And then I try to figure out if I can reframe that, right? How can I figure out a way to reframe the thing I'm least looking forward to? Or do I just need to accept that and lean into, you know, not everything's going to be great, but I can get through this, right? The other thing I like to think about is, what will my theme for the month be? What is my theme for the month? And I know a lot of people pick a word for the year, but I also pick a word or a theme for the month as well that kind of keeps me motivated. And it's one of those things that I'll remind myself throughout the month. For the month of March, my theme is radical discipline. February, I fell off. It was fall off February, y'all. I fell all the way off and just was not really that focused. We can have a whole nother conversation about the why behind that, but February was fall off month. That was not the theme, but it's what happened. It became the de facto theme. And so this month I'm thinking about radical discipline. And so when I find myself stepping outside of the things that I'm supposed to do or say I'm gonna do, I hear it in the back of my head. I hear the words radical discipline. Or if I'm like, I don't feel like it, I hear the word radical discipline, and that kind of gives me that boost. So I also think about the theme. So step one in my planning process is to do the creative thinking around what are you looking forward to, why are you looking forward to it, what aren't you looking forward to, and why, and also what's my theme? What's going to be your word for the month or your theme for the month? All right. The next thing to do is refer to your goals. You made goals for the year. You may have broken those goals down for the quarter as well. I typically take my annual goals and break them down for the quarter. And so here's the time where I can look and say, okay, what of these goals do I need to focus on this month? The other layer that I have is the review that I did the month before. So based on the review that I did the month before, I can identify what are the gaps that I need to add into my monthly plan. So now I've got these data points, and these data points include what I said was going to be important for me for the year, what my goals were, what I said was important in this quarter, right? So I may have said something was important for the year, but it's in a whole nother quarter. So I don't need to spend this month focusing on it. But what's important in this quarter, and also what progress did I not make last month that I need to roll over into this month? Lastly, what are some of the things that I realized last month needs to come off of this list? Because my actions have shown that this is not a priority. So now it's time to say, okay, let's write these goals down based on our larger goals for the year and the quarter, based on what was left over from last month, and also based on what the data and the information has told us is not important to us. I may need to think about what I should not put on my list of goals for this month based on how I behaved the last 2 months, based on what I showed was not a priority the last 2 months. So now I've got my actual goal list, and I'm going to list those things out. My tip number 3 here is I try to organize these goals into 6 categories: health, finances, career or business, development, lifestyle, and relationships. So these goals kind of fit into these different categories, and I try not to set more than 2 goals for each of these categories. Not saying that you can't do other things in those, but I don't want to overwhelm myself with like I'm trying to accomplish 5 things for 6 different categories. And also note, you don't have to set a goal for every category. I do set at least 1 goal for every category, but I try not to set more than 2. And sometimes it's just, this ain't the month for relationships. This just ain't the month for me to focus on development right now. It just ain't. So you may not set a goal for that. So you decide that, but those are the categories that I tend to plan in and tend to organize my goals in. All right, so now that I've got my goals listed and I've got them categorized as well, now it's time to think about, okay, when can I accomplish these things? When do I need to schedule these out? When do I need to focus on? Because a month is not a very long time. It's just 4 weeks. Like, months come and go so fast. February was in and out of here, wasn't it? I mean, I know February is the shortest month of the year, but god dang, that thing zipped right on by. Anyway, so you want to think about, how do I start to organize this? Before you do that, what I want you to do is figure out what you need to block out already, right? So sit down and look at your month and think about the key dates in the month. Things like birthdays, anniversaries, trips that you're taking, big deadlines that you have coming up. Whatever it is that already has a date, go ahead and start blocking out the dates for those things. The next step is to build out your action plans. Okay, so you know exactly what's important to you for the month from your goals perspective: birthdays, activities, events, deadlines. Now, what do you need to do to meet those things? What do I need to do for these birthdays? Do I need to order something? Actually, my nephew's birthday is this week. It's already in my calendar when his birthday is. I also put a calendar reminder for when I need to order him a gift. Right, so I already identified the action item that I need to do for his birthday and put that in there. My niece's birthday is this month as well. And so I have their birthdays in the calendar, but I also have the action that I need to take prior to their birthday so that I don't miss it or forget it. Because what I don't want to do is have that reminder pop up and their birthday's already there. And it's like, well, shoot, it's too late. It's too late to do anything. So things like that, you want to go ahead and identify what are the actions that I need to take to hit these goals, but also to address these key dates and events that I have coming up. If you've got a deadline coming up because you've got a presentation next week that you need to deliver, have you already scheduled out and blocked out time to write that presentation or practice that presentation? So now it's time to literally get down into the nitty-gritty, roll those sleeves up, Because having goals is nice, but if they don't have an action plan, when are you going to achieve these goals? When are you going to be working towards those goals? Here is where you take time to schedule your activities out. And here's a few ways that I do that. I use my calendar. Love a calendar because I can actually block out time. I can put reminders up. So I will say that I typically use calendars for things like meetings, events. The other thing that I like to do is use actual project management tools. So things like Asana or Trello. And lately I've been using an app called TickTick. I will have to do a video on TickTick later. I'm still in the works of using it, so still trying to decide if I love this tool. But I will tell you what I like about it so far. What I like about it so far is it integrates my calendar so I can see everything that's on my calendar, but also when I have tasks on a day-to-day basis, I can schedule those tasks out as well, and I can set durations. For instance, there literally is a task on my calendar to record this video. Here's why I love this so much, and I gotta do a different video about this, but I think we play ourselves with our to-do lists. We go into the day or the week or the month or whatever with these crazy long to-do lists, but we don't really have the time to do all of these things. And what I love about TickTick is I can take my to-do list and turn it into a schedule. And I can be really honest with myself about whether or not I can accomplish certain things because I have scheduled out time to do it. And it could be a 10-minute increment, a 15-minute increment, all the way up to 3, 4, 5 hours or the full day. I can actually say I need to block out this amount of time to do this. It's not a calendar event. It is literally me scheduling out my task list, which I absolutely love. So the last step in planning your month is literally taking your goals and the things that you know you need to do and turn those into action plans. All right. So that is how I plan my month. I hope that that process was helpful for you. I don't think it's that complicated, right? I think probably the most complicated thing is sitting down to do the work and reviewing your month before and, incorporating those things, because a lot of people just want to sit down and write a list of goals and say, yeah, I'm gonna do this stuff. But I want us to be intentional about how we approach goals. And reviews are important because they tell you so much about yourself. They tell you about your priorities, your actions, and those reviews help inform the next month, because it's not just about, listing out goals and checking boxes. It's also about truly mastering yourself, your intentions, and your motivation, right? It's about understanding what motivates you and understanding how you can control and manage your focus and your time so that you can get more out of your day-to-day life. Okay, so all that said, I think this is pretty straightforward, but you let me know if this was helpful. Do your girl a favor, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, but even more importantly, subscribe and turn on alerts so you get notified whenever I post new content, and I will see you in the next video.